What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Paul Goneau. My guest today is teacher and comedian Dana Topping.
Hello.
Hey, I said that really official. I sounded pretty official when I said that. Now, when you are like I said, teacher, comedian, because I thought maybe comedian would be a little more important, but I'm unsure. Because you went to school for a bit to become a teacher, so what do you really consider yourself first, a teacher or a comedian?
I would say still teacher.
Yeah.
I'm not a full-fledged teacher yet. I went to school for ECE just for 2 years, but right now I'm at Ryerson. I'm trying to finish my BA so I can go to teachers college.
Okay.
So I'm not a full-fledged official teacher, but I'm an early childhood educator.
So are you doing teaching assistant kind of stuff in schools right now, or?
No. Well, I am in charge of a kindergarten classroom of 25 kids, and I do the before and after care. So I do that every day. And then I'm also doing the lunch recess in the Toronto schools.
Okay.
So I'm like the lunch lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting your foot in that way,
I know.
That's smart.
Making sure they don't kill each other.
What made you want to pursue that?
Actually, for a while, didn't know I wanted to be a teacher. I was in my 20s, so I'm 38, so I'm a little older, but...
No, it's okay. I'm 36.
See? Yeah.
We're good.
Right
We're
on.
good. Yeah. It's all good.
But yeah, when I was in my 20s, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And the boyfriend I had at the time was going to India, and I wanted to come with him for a couple of months. I had no money. So I went door to door trying to get people to donate to Greenpeace. I just picked any organization I could get money from. And,
I've done the exact same thing. I'm not even joking. It wasn't Greenpeace. Legitimately, Mount Sinai Hospital. That's what it was for. I did the exact same thing back in the day.
You're right. And then so I was going door to door, knocking on people's doors, trying to get them to donate. And there was this one lady that opened her door, and she had 3 kids that were out of control. And I got them all to calm down and I talked with them. I basically had 10-minute conversation with the kids, and the woman's like, "Oh, are you a teacher?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "You should really become a teacher." So that's actually how I realized I should.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, so that kind of changed everything, because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. At the time, I was in film school, so I thought I was going to do something like that, and I got a little scared and dropped out of school, because I just thought, am I going to make a career of this? Am I going to get money? I don't know, I might be poor for my whole life. So I'm a poor teacher.
That's pretty awesome, and it's a pretty good example of how, anything can happen at any time and trigger something, and a butterfly effect, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's pretty dope. I couldn't imagine being young. When I was young, I definitely, now that I'm older, I could see maybe I went to school for culinary stuff. I think it might be cool to maybe, when I'm older, maybe do a little bit. I knew when I went to school, there were our chefs, teachers, whatever you want to call them, they were doing a lot of side things as well. That wasn't their main thing.
Yeah.
So I just, that's something maybe I would consider now, but down the road. But when I was young, my experiences with teachers were so I was kind of I guess class clown-ish. You know what I mean? And I was very outspoken even as a young kid, because I was raised in foster homes.
Yeah.
And maybe didn't have a lot of the direction that some other kids have. And so I was placed in behavioral classes and shit like that. And it was a long road, and had legitimately, I remember I was put in the hall. I was in grade 7.
Yeah.
And a teacher I stuck my head in, and I was talking shit, and she slammed the door on my head. It was a big deal.
Oh my god.
And to be fair, she was the teacher that, and I know your teacher is so bad, but she was the teacher that really was just extra hard, and she did instrumental music.
Oh.
And I was always look, I'm interested in playing things, but you don't have to be so serious. I don't. And it's funny because at the time I was I'm not going to be a musician, and like at some point I wanted to be a musician, and so I don't know. It's weird because, and I remember her name, Miss Dorigo. And I always used to call her Mr. Arrigo just to like piss her off. And like I played like the clarinet in her class, and I forget my reeds sometimes. And she would always like, okay, well, she could easily give me a reed. They're like $1.50 or whatever the case is, and fucking she would just make me write notes. And instead of writing notes, I would like draw pictures of like her sitting at the piano playing it with her boobs because they were really saggy and shit. And I just got in a lot of trouble, so.
That's creative. Bonus points.
I did what I could with the time that I had. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh man, yeah. Instrumental teachers, they're always a character.
Yeah, it's like how many people. I get what the whole like fundamentals of it, and learning something, and just like focusing, and whatever way you want to come at it. Sure, but like I guarantee nobody from Cosburn Middle School, the class of fucking. 98 is playing clarinet or trumpet or trombone or some shit right now,
Probably not.
Super unlikely.
Especially with your teacher, right?
Yo, man, just relax, Oh well, what are you trying to get into? Like you're trying to do like kindergarten? That's what you want to do early on?
Yeah, I think that's my age group. I'm really good with them. I understand them. People think I'm crazy for wanting that age group because they seem wild. But they actually follow routine really well. Much like men. No, just kidding.
I feel like they would probably be the easiest. They are.
They listen. They're still young enough to be kind of scared to not listen. They're not in that, when you get a little older, you kind of want to talk back. They're not there yet. And they think everything is amazing. They think life is like this big adventure, and to them everything is new stuff.
And you're like the smartest person ever.
Yeah, I know when I was single and I was kind of down about certain things in my life. I was thinking, it would be so funny to make a book about how to date like a kindergartner. Because like you would never take anything seriously on the date, and you would be living in the moment, and you would never be upset if something went wrong, as you would move on to the next thing, right? Kind of like how kids are. So I always thought that was a fun concept, but yeah, they're just.
No, I mean, what are the other options really? Like middle school or high school? High school is like definitely no. Definitely wouldn't do that. College or university for sure, like that maybe, but like. Kids, man. Like when I was in high school, I did a parenting class. I was switching schools. Yeah. Like I switched after grade 10, and I was going to do my last 2 years, which ended up in being 3 years at a different school. And so when I switched, I was single and shit. I'm like, and it's not like I'm not interested in like being a good parent or parenting and all that kind of shit, but I took parenting because I was like, for sure there's going to be a lot of chicks in that class. Like I'm going to meet a girl and it's going to be sweet. Mm-hmm. And then it was... Like, when I got my schedule, parenting was second semester, and I ended up getting a girlfriend in first semester. So the whole purpose of the class was, like, there was no point, really. But I ended up taking it and was, like, put into, like, a placement at this, like, church, a daycare.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just awesome.
That's
and I have a lot of energy, so it's, like, I can let that out when I need to with them and shit. And, like, they called me Mr. Goneau. It was real official. It was super cool, man. And, like, by the end of... I don't know how long I did there. Maybe, like, 2 months.
Okay.
Where I did, like, I don't know, a couple days a week. And by the end of it, I had to, like, basically do a whole day. Like, run the program for the whole day. And structure it and do all that kind of stuff. So, but it was a lot of fun, man. I gotta be real.
It is. It can be a lot. It's more like the management involved can be a lot. They're a little bit, we're not unionized like teachers are. So it can be a little micromanaged, but every job could be like that, I guess.
Yeah.
And the kids is what makes it fun, right?
And what makes it also is that like, you want to be there. Like, the most important thing is, like, actually wanting to wake up and do what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so... I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is. I think that's actually, like, one of the most important things I think a person could be is, like, teaching the youngins.
You're doing something useful.
For real, though.
Yeah. No, you do. You do make a difference, and kids remember you. I have some of the grade 3s now come up to me and be like, it was so much fun when you were my teacher. I was like, oh, that's adorable. And they still remember the things we did. We grew a caterpillar, tried to turn it into a butterfly. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Died.
Oh, no.
But
now we learned about death, kids.
They learned about death and made a little gravesite for it.
Oh, you did? That's so
did.
cute.
Yeah. But they still remember it, which is crazy. So I always remember my kindergarten teacher. You don't forget that, I guess. It's like
I only have like one teacher there's a few I remember my name, but one that, maybe two. One in like middle school that was really cool, and like whenever we would all like kind of be getting too much, he would bring us outside and like make us do like I don't know, there was like this frisbee game that was kind of like football that we played. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, ultimate frisbee?
It might be that, yeah.
I think.
And there was like a bunch of stuff, and he'd like just take us outside because we were like in a portable, and he would just take us outside for 20 minutes, half hour, and then we'd go back and he'd just continue his shit. And he was just a really very like Mr. Rogers, Mr. Dress Up type teacher. That's how I really looked at him, like Mr. Dress Up. His name was Mr. Clutterbuck.
Oh, that's an amazing name.
Yeah. Oh. And then I had a teacher in high school that was like pretty cool, and like we kind of like played guitar and stuff together. Mr. D. Bartolo. I don't know why I grabbed my phone. Do you ever get that? Like, I just grab my phone out of nowhere. Like, I'm not looking at it. I'm not going to do anything.
You know what? I don't even think I have mine, so it's really weird.
Look at you.
Usually I have my phone. Like, always. It's really bad. I try not to, especially with the kids, but, like, sometimes I just, do, as we all do. But, yeah, it's like another limb.
It's weird.
And we're around the same age. Like, I remember growing up without a phone. Mm-hmm. I remember having a beeper in high school.
Yeah. I didn't have one, but I remember beepers.
Yeah, and I remember my first phone, and I wasn't really attached to it, right? Like, all you could do is text, and you couldn't really do much. But it's crazy how we're, like, so...
Yeah, I always like to think that I'm, like, on the better side of things, because, as you said, like, I do remember a time when everybody didn't have phones.
Yeah.
And I think I'd be good if they go away. Like, I think I'd be all right. Like, I wouldn't panic like a lot of people who have just lived their whole lives with this technology. It would just be like, well, what do I do? Well, like, clearly, like, by grabbing it, I'm like... Me and my girlfriends also get into, like, conversations, arguments sometimes, because they're like, well, like, you're on your phone a lot. And she, like, watches TikTok. I don't have TikTok. And she spends a lot, like, she loves that shit.
Yeah, watching the short clips and stuff.
But, like, for, like, hours. And we'll look at, are you on Instagram for this long and Facebook? Because I don't use TikTok, but I use those, or I have my notes or whatever open. But like Facebook, Instagram, and probably like Microsoft Word or like my most used programs just for like writing, and then the social media stuff. And I'm always, my argument's like, well, like it's kind of like my work a little bit. Yeah. But I know that's like, it's a soft excuse, It's not real. Like, I have a problem. I think most people have problems.
Yeah. I would be terrified to see how many hours I've spent in the last month on Instagram. And I used to not be big on it. It was when I got into comedy, I was on it more. I was on Facebook a lot more, and then I kind of just switched over.
Yeah, it's weird. Literally, after my first performance, I got Instagram. My first photo was like my first show ever.
Oh, I didn't know that. There you go.
And so, like, I was, like, late getting to it and was also big on Facebook. But now it seems like I find, I don't know how many friends you have. I don't have, like, a crazy amount of friends. But I just find, like, people on Facebook aren't as supportive as they are on Instagram.
Yeah, you're right.
For real.
Right. It is weird.
It's weird.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
And now they're going to switch it up.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? Yeah. They're going to make it more like TikTok. And I don't know if I don't like that. I'm not on TikTok for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't go on there. I just don't. I don't know. I haven't gone into it. Like,
so what do you have? You have Facebook, Instagram. Do you have Twitter?
I don't do Twitter. I never saw the point of Twitter because, I have too many thoughts in my head to write in such a short amount of characters.
That's fair.
Yeah, Yeah. I never saw the point to that. But yeah, the Instagram thing, I'd only got to be more of a thing with the comedy. I used to have an account for photography because I did that a lot, and then I didn't keep up with it. And I have an account for my dog, and he has way more followers than me. It's 5,000.
That's awesome. I follow, feel like more animals than people and that kind of shit. I mean, that's really what I like when I watch that. I'm a ridiculous, I'm like softy for puppy rescue videos, or just like any kind of injured animal, or oh man, I love it all.
You can't help it. You gotta support the animals' Instagram.
It's just rough because sometimes they'll pop up on you and I'll be like I don't drive, so I'll be on like a bus and start like tearing up at some shit. And, like, fuck, like, you know, like
I know.
Right now, like why? And I'm obviously not gonna flick after I've seen like 30 seconds. I'm like, I need to see this puppy get better. You know, I can't just end it on like, look at this fucked up puppy.
I can never watch Marley and Me again. That was the one time, and I can never do it again.
Honestly,
so sad.
That is like, for me, like, not just saying this, I've already said this on this podcast, I don't know what episode, but that is like the saddest movie to me. Ever.
Forget like someone dying in a war or this and that, or women are like The Notebook. I'm like, no, Marley and Me is like the saddest movie ever.
Have you only seen it once?
Once. I could never do it again.
That's smart. I saw it. I've seen it 3 times now.
Oh, no.
And like the first time I saw it, and like I was this was like a lot, like when it first came out. And so I was in a different relationship. And after I saw it, I was like, oh, you have to see this movie. And I thought that because I had like cried so much watching it the first time, like, all right, the second time won't be as bad. But then it's like, I knew what was going to happen, so I'm like tearing up way before shit happens. And then the third time, honestly, wasn't any better. It's legitimately one of the saddest movies of all time.
So bad. It's so sad.
So you said you have been just doing, you know, mostly Instagram since you started comedy.
Yeah.
When was that? How long have you been doing comedy?
Let's see. January?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I didn't really start going out. I refused to do my first set until I had stuff written. So that would have been beginning of March? No, end of February, I would say. So not very long.
That's great, though.
Yeah. I did the Second City class.
Yes.
And that taught me how to write.
Who was your teacher? Did you just do level 1, or what'd you do?
I did 2 levels, but I didn't graduate the second level.
Okay.
Because...
well, what does that mean, graduate?
You have to do a grad show.
Okay.
And the grad show was on the same day as my first comedy bar show that I produced. And I was like, I can't give up the show.
Oh, so that wasn't even like long ago. Because I remember when you put that first show together.
Yeah, so that was my second course. So the first course, Joel Buxton taught me the first stand-up. He was great. And then, oh my gosh, Leanne Molden, really cool lady. Funny.
Okay, I didn't have either. I did 2 levels as well.
Yeah.
But honestly, now that you're saying, oh, you have to like graduate. Yeah. I'm gonna be real. I didn't go to my grad show for the second level either.
So you didn't graduate?
I went to like all the shit. Fuck that. I went every class, and my favorite musician is Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park and Fort Minor, and and he was in town. Supporting his new solo album.
I would have.
You finna tell me I'm not gonna go to that? Like I've already started doing open mics and stuff at this point. Yeah. You know, I did level 1, and since my performance in level 1, I had been doing open mics. So like this was just, I mean, at the end of the day, it was just another fucking 5 minutes.
It's all it is.
You know,
the second level I didn't find as useful. It was just a lot of
same.
It was just doing 5 minutes.
Yeah, and like critiquing your set after sitting around in a circle or so. Did you do that shit?
Yeah, and it was really hard, and they wanted
teacher would like dissect everyone's set.
Yeah, and you got to write like 5 minutes every week, and to me that was really hard with work. And I just don't want to write anything. I really want to think about it, and didn't do it. And now I haven't written anything new recently. I need to really, because I'm in a relationship now, and all my material's like irrelevant. So I really need to get back and just try to think of. There's so much funny stuff going on I could use, and just sit down and for a day.
I've always said the exact same thing about the second level. I'm glad to kind of get...
Yeah, I don't find it to be as useful.
Someone else with the same opinion. Yeah. Sorry.
I've heard that from others. You're not the
I never really considered myself like not... Like you're like, oh, I didn't graduate. I never really considered until you like mentioned. And I'm still like, from this point, I'm probably like, I'm not really... I don't consider that.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. I went, man. I did all the work. That was like the final, like, it's okay.
You put the money in. Did you ever do the improv classes, or did you just do the stand-up one?
Just the stand-up. Yeah. But I've been really thinking about doing improv.
Yeah.
Just because I think it would... The crowd work has been a constant struggle for me.
It's
and
hard.
I like have a few topics that I like to work with the crowd, and it's been hard for me finding. And don't get me wrong, like I go to shit and I interact with the crowd, but it's always like hard trying to find something that to move on. Like I don't want to just ask couples every fucking set, and I'm trying to find other ways and figure things out, and I've been doing this for just under 4 years, so I don't even really consider myself doing it for that long, especially since COVID was like 2 of those years.
Yeah.
For real. So
that would be so difficult.
I don't know. Improv seems like a good way to kind of maybe get better.
I did 2 levels. I want to go back.
Improv as well?
Yeah, that was my original thing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Oh wait, so you went to Second City for improv, not stand-up?
Yeah, originally.
Oh, wow.
Originally, I wanted to get into improv, and I was really obsessed with it, and I was studying it. And it was only because I went through this whole life-altering breakup. I know everyone says that, but it really was.
It's true. I don't even want to get into it because I've said it a bunch of times. Like every comedian, I'm like, oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, everyone's probably had that. And that was like 3 years ago. Part of the story about Australia that we could get into, but that happened, and right away I think it was like after 2 weeks of just bawling my eyes out, I was like, it just came to me and I was like, oh, I need to do like funny stuff, comedy. I've always been the funny friend, and it's what I've always enjoyed doing. And I was like, oh, I need to do improv because I remember watching it as a kid, all those shows, but also I was like really into it, like watching different people do it, and I was like, oh, I want to learn how to do that, and I can meet people. So I went to Second City. I think this was like literally 2 months after this whole thing, and I started, and I met all these people. I went out all the time, and it changed me. And I did that, and then went to the second level, and then kind of COVID happened and stuff. I repeated 2 levels because I wasn't confident enough to go to level C. Because then you do a performance, and I was like, oh no. And then COVID happened, and I was like, oh, I want to get back into it. And then I met a comedian, and that's how I got into stand-up in October. Alex DeWitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend, and him and Max Ross, they're both comedians. We're sitting at the bar.
I know him too.
Yeah, he's a great guy. They all are.
The braces.
Yeah, braces. No more.
They're gone?
Came off.
Shit.
Yeah, the braces came off. It was a huge
I haven't seen him probably for like a year or so.
Yeah,
that seems likely.
He's like, I think he's excited about the whole thing. I would be.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're probably looking like, he's probably over smiling now.
You're done. Yeah, he's got all the smiles. But yeah, I met them, and they're like, oh, we're stand-up comedians, and I was like, that's hilarious because I actually want to get into stand-up. And then I just hung out with those guys a lot and got to know everyone in the community, and then went on to do it.
I think I indirectly met you from Alex DeWitt because you came to his show.
Yeah.
At Social Capital.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I was his groupie because he was the easiest person to hang out with. He was the one that I was really good friends with, the one that I felt the most comfortable with, and I was like, hey, I need to learn to write. Can I just go to like your sets and see how you change it and see what happens in each instance, like crowds and stuff? It actually taught me a lot. So I must have seen his stuff like so many times.
Yeah, I actually saw him open for Ed the Sock before I actually like met him. Yeah. Like I think I had just started. I actually tried to get on that show too, but I think it was like too late.
I heard about that show.
And that's when I actually first saw him, and I thought he was fucking solid then, and he's just getting better,
Yeah, really good writer, super funny, nice dude. So
good dude.
Yeah, it was amazing, and I got to know so many people. And I guess I'm just social kind of person, and got to know everybody, and that actually really helped me because then I was really comfortable before I went in and did it. I don't know if I would have been as confident going in if I didn't know everybody.
Yeah.
I felt more comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
You're not like that person who's just getting in, you don't know anybody. You're kind of like, I know you and you, oh cool.
It's definitely harder, for sure. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah, so it was definitely a good thing I did, getting to know everybody. And then, when I felt comfortable, I did my first set at Brett Young's. He does this like Saturday show. And that was like the perfect place to do it because I was really nervous about it. My first set, and I was like, okay, now I can move on.
How did the first set go?
It went really well. I didn't think the thing that I was most nervous about, besides the writing, was the memorization, and how I would be, because I never was on a mic ever. Because when you do Second City, they don't give you a mic.
Okay.
Did you have a mic, a live mic?
In level 1, we were in like a classroom. And so we had like a mic stand with a mic, but it wasn't attached to anything. We just had that. Yeah. So it was really just us talking, holding something. But there's no amplification, you know?
And I wish there was, because I was nervous about that. Like, what would I sound like, or what would it be like? And once I got that out of the way and I was pretty comfortable, I thought, okay, I can do it again. But this time it's going to be with like people, like not just friends around. And it was good. I did really well. I think I had a good 5 minutes written, because it took me 3 months to write it. And a lot of critiquing from the class helped. And now I think the struggle is putting together all these other things that you have going on and not having that. You know, it's mostly trial and error through.
Yeah, there's so many. There's writing it, and then there's actually getting through it on stage the way you wrote it or the way you want to present it. You know, if you don't write out every detail, you maybe just write points, and you want to hit those a certain way. And if you don't do, you know, there's that. And then like, I mean, I feel like once you kind of, that's why doing like yesterday. Wait, what day is it today?
Thursday.
I'm recording this on a Thursday, so I think, I don't know, yesterday or the day before, I did like an open mic at like this sweet fucking like art gallery.
Oh, that's so cool.
And like I'm working through like a new like Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing, and like, you know, yesterday the thing, I guess she was found guilty or whatever it is, and she has to give Johnny Depp like 15 million or some shit like that. So I was like talking a bit about that, and like a lot of it's new, and I hit all the points, but it was supposed to be my fucking closer too, and I definitely just didn't do it how I wanted. But like, it's just, you know, it's the repetition and getting the reps in, and the more comfortable you are with the joke, the more you're more flexible you become, I think. Like yesterday I added an awesome tag to a joke I've been doing for like, I don't know, a year.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, how did I just think of this right now? And it was just like random, and it was...
You were that comfortable. That's the great thing about it.
Yeah, like it's, you know, sometimes things just happen. So, and I'm like, it was weird when I was first starting out. Like there were a couple things, like my thing was you were worried about like the noise on like an actual amplified mic. I was really worried about holding the mic. Like I have, like I smoke weed. I don't know if that's the reason, but like my nerves aren't the best. Sometimes I'm fine, but other times like my hand just starts like shaking for no reason. Like I'm like, oh, like this is my show, I'm doing jokes I've done before, like I don't know why this is happening, but sometimes it does. So for a long time I just left it on the stand, and my whole like bunch of first sets I just didn't pick it up. And then like the people that I went to Second City with one night, I like picked it up, and like I got like, it was easily just picking up the mic. I got more noise than I did for any of my jokes, and
they're like, you picked it up.
So yeah, you know, just ride the wave. Let things work themselves out. They'll work it out. You're funny, clearly.
Oh, thank you.
So it's like, you know, just keep going at it. Don't let fucking bombs discourage you. Was that something that was also like, because for me, like I was obviously I consider myself a fan of comedy before. I consider myself a comedian. And like all the podcasts and stuff I listen to with these comedians, I hear them talk about like, oh, like bombing's necessary. Bombing's where you learn the most. Bombing this. And it's like, you know, at some point this shit's going to happen. And it happens a lot of times, especially when you're working on new shit. It happens more times than not.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, just knowing that and risking it. Like there's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much risk, I guess, in our art form. I definitely consider it an art form. You know?
You don't know what you're gonna get when you go, and you're hoping it's gonna go well, and then it makes you question things, I think. But I think I was very lucky. Honestly, I didn't have that bomb experience until much later. And it wasn't for that. That said, it was just new stuff I was writing. And I wasn't completely confident in it.
Okay.
Whereas I feel like, you know, when I'm confident in it, I deliver it a little bit better. So I need to get that back and not be so scared to do the new stuff.
Which just question it a lot.
Yeah.
And if you don't get well, you explain to me. I don't want to
the whole doing it without fearing the bombing. I'm not scared to bomb.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I'm just like, oh, that's okay. Like, it's gonna happen. And I almost want it to happen so I can get used to what it's like, and it's very awkward. And I've done it a couple times, but it's just because, no one's around, too, on top of it all. Mm-hmm. So you're unsure if that was a bomb, or it's just because there's two people there, and they're like,
I know, that's too. And, or doing, shows where it's just comedians.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know, comedians are... way harder than just, an audience that's like, hey, let's go out and laugh. And they're going out, they're paying a little money or whatever. They're actively seeking out laughter.
And
Comedians are different.
And I did a show. It was the comedy bukkake show. So, the first one I did really well. And then the second one I put in different things, that I've done, but maybe I didn't do as much. And I felt like it wasn't a bomb, but it was, more flat. It wasn't what I would normally get, but I was like, whatever, it's okay. And I made a joke oh, that's why there's the only, it's only me, I'm the only girl on the show, so, a silly joke like that, you can go and get these guys, they're more, whatever, talented, but it wasn't a bad thing. I was happy with that, I was I welcomed that, because then it kind of showed me, okay, maybe I need to rewrite this or change this,
So when those moments come where you do your punchline and don't get what you're expecting, is there have you ever kind of detoured and just changed what you're doing, or do you generally just stick to your guns and just are well, this is happening, I'm just gonna ride it out as uncomfortable as it is?
I feel like I'm not versed enough yet to detour, so I'll just keep going with it. And
it's the smartest thing you could do, though.
And I know honestly. It's gonna be worse. I feel like if I maybe I'll go this way, but I'm I don't know what's gonna happen if I do that. So if I just go the way I know, okay, I'll finish this, and then if I move on, I think it will be a lot better. Or sometimes I can think of something in the moment quick to say that kind of can change things around. Because I was like that with my friends always growing up. I'd be the quick little things in the moment. And that sometimes plays in my favor if I just try to keep it cool and throw a couple of things out there to everybody and just make it oh, it's not bothering me, kind of thing. And just move on. And sometimes I have switched my set. If I feel oh, this isn't gonna go well, I think the next one won't. I'll switch it around.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a good learning experience because I'm so new. I kind of need that.
Yeah. No. Yeah, and even when you're not new, I feel it was something that I definitely would avoid. When I first started and things were going south, I would oh, this joke about fucking this tree. I wrote a really fucking funny joke about a tree and ended up what about his quality of people talking about 1,000-year-old trees?
Yeah.
And no one thinks it from the tree's perspective. All his friends are dead. I was just kind of painting this picture and feel sorry for the tree. Let's fucking knock the tree down, turn him into a fence kind of deal, And I just had certain jokes that early on that I would rely on, and if things were going. But then it just, for me anyway, even if I do bad, it's weird because even if I do bad in the beginning and I recover, I already have that feeling of doing bad. Even if my only joke that tanked was my first joke and the next 10 jokes hit, I would get off stage and still be dwelling on that one. So it's once that happens, it's you just gotta, you're not really gonna learn, you're gonna feel like shit, and you're not gonna learn anything if you just detour and go to something safe. You gotta fucking, that was something that I kind of found out I mean, just basically, you know, the hard way.
The hard
trial
way.
and error.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and
it does help knowing a lot of people who are comedians to ask, oh, what do you know, if you're doing this, like, what should you do? Or what could have I done differently? Or, you know, a lot of people know my stuff that I've written. So if I've done it differently, they'll be like, oh, you missed this. This is why it didn't go as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, it's good to have that in your corner as well, right?
Like Josh going to a lot of my sets, you know, that helps.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, to have someone know.
You guys are really supportive of each other.
We try.
And you met him through comedy.
I did. Actually, I'm
that's
like really happy with that. My entire life changed in the last, I don't know, since January. It's done a whole spin from like feeling a certain way of, oh, you know, like I have all this, but not this piece that I'm missing. And honestly, Josh and I were friends for the longest time. He became my best friend, and then just one day, I don't know what did it.
Like, yo, let's fucking do it, man. Yeah. We hang out all the time. Let's just fucking...
I have no idea. People ask me all the time. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't see it. It just happened. Like they say, it just happened, but...
Well, it's good. You guys are an awesome couple. Josh is a fucking cool dude. I think I've actually known you slightly longer than I've known Josh. I didn't really...
He was out for a while of comedy, and I was getting back in.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get him on. Probably, when's this come? Probably next month, sometime in July.
I learn a lot.
So hopefully he's not bored in the living room right now.
He's
Shout
enjoying
out to
it.
Josh.
He's enjoying it. He drove me here. Good guy. Water break. Water break's a good...
Yeah, definitely. Actually, we should get into some of these snacks.
Oh.
If you want.
Mm-hmm. Let's see these snacks.
Boom. So it's a monthly subscription box called Tokyo Treat.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can pick one.
Let's see. Oh, I love... Have you been to Tokyo?
I have not. Have you?
I have.
Oh,
motherfucker. Fun fact about Tokyo, their construction, like, pylons that they use, they're pink bunnies. Yeah.
It's such an odd...
They're pink bunnies.
This is the first thing I need to tell people because this is amazing.
They are pink bunnies. And I was so excited. Oh my gosh, there's this thing and it looks so... He's so excited. Wait, but then what's that? I don't even know. Spring collection. I feel like I need to know what this is. It's got cherry blossoms on it. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the toilets, when you flush them there, it claps. Like your little... It's like, yay! Yeah, it's amazing.
No, I don't think that's that.
It's so pretty. Look at the packaging.
Let's see.
Oh, here we go.
Sakura Madeline cupcake. I don't know what Sakura is.
Ooh.
I'm probably not saying it right. Sakura.
So it's got an elegant flavor of cherry blossom baked in. So it's going to taste like a flower.
All right, so we'll split that and then...
Yeah. We need to know what this tastes like.
Here.
That looks exciting. They all do. Like...
Let's do Pocky.
Oh my gosh, classic.
So one will for sure be good. I mean, I don't know if I've ever had a bad Pocky.
Oh no, you can never.
It says heartful flavor.
With cherries on it.
What the fuck? Oh, yo, it's all cherry stuff. That explains why everything's
cherry
pink.
blossom.
You're making sense now. I was like, what is this?
It's amazing.
Oh, pink.
I'm gonna match my nails here.
You want me to open it?
Oh, sure. I mean...
Wow, I'm gonna fuck your nails up. I don't do anything to my nails.
Okay, we gotta split this thing here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Oh, you know what it smells like? It smells like cotton candy. Like it doesn't smell like cherry blossoms. Whatever they are supposed to smell like.
Yeah, do they even smell like cherries?
I don't know. That's a good
Or are they
question.
just like the blossoms on a cherry tree?
Oh, it's pink inside.
Shoot.
Okay.
All right.
I have to try this. It doesn't taste like a flower, does it? I say does it because my taste is weird. Nobody believes me. The second vaccine changed my taste.
For real?
Bad tastes can sometimes taste good and good tastes can sometimes taste like bad. Animal products taste rancid. I can't smell poop. It smells like coconuts. Random.
That's amazing.
I know. Working with children, it's a godsend. It really is.
It's actually not bad, but the thing with like It just doesn't even taste... Like, it tastes like chemicals a little bit. I could see the flour. I mean, I've never eaten a flower, but it kind of tastes like a flower smells, or certain flowers smell. I get that. Very perfumey.
It tastes like... I used to be on Nutrisystem, and I lost, like, so much weight, like 40 pounds last year. It tastes like one of those cupcakes. The diet cupcakes.
Did you, like, learn to love them?
Yeah, I did. I was like, this is amazing. I haven't eaten anything all day.
Yeah, my aunt was diabetic.
And,
like, I lived with my Nana on and off for periods of time growing up. And, so my diabetic aunt just had all these sugarless candies, and as a kid, I just fucking became addicted to these, like, candies that I wouldn't eat if you paid me now.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I've seen... Oh. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've had a bad Pocky.
I don't think that's possible. These are great.
Pretty decent. Cherry Pocky.
I don't know if I taste cherry.
No?
Maybe.
It's very subtle, that's for damn sure.
It kind of tastes like white chocolate. Again, my taste is weird. It tastes good.
But I mean, that's probably what they used, to be real.
Like white chocolate? Yeah, it probably was. I love that. You're making me want to get a little subscription box now from Japan or like China or something.
I really only eat them here. Like, there's a few that I don't bust out because it'd be hard for two people to kind of split them. But for the most part, I just eat them on here. All right, before we get into our top 5, I want to learn about this Australia business. Because Australia is like someplace... Like, we're going to do places we've traveled to. And I don't have any. Like, I've been across Canada... But, like, none of the, like... It's just no... I've never been anywhere I've actually wanted to go. I lived in BC for a bit.
That's cool.
But Australia is a place that I would love to visit. So I definitely want to hear. How did that come to be?
So, like, I lived over there off and on for 6 years. About an hour from Melbourne. In a small town called Geelong. It was on the coast, so it was amazing. I was, like, right, like, by the ocean. There was palm trees. My dream to always live with palm trees. But I went for a boy, of course, as...
Oh, is this the fucking... Is this the breakup that we were...
The breakup that changed my life. Yeah, so...
This is the one? With this guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I must have
been... Alright, we're gonna get into it.
I know, it's like a whole story. Like, I'm trying to think of how old I was when I met this guy. Maybe 27. I met him through a couple who worked in Canada, who were Australian. And I met them in college when I was in film school. And then we kept in touch. And one day on Facebook, I messaged them. And I was like, hey, where's my Australian husband? As a joke. I'm like, oh, you should talk to this guy. He's perfect for you. He was so nice and whatever. So I added him and we talked. And we ended up falling in love before we met. So I was like, this is crazy. Like... This never happens, you know, and it was genuine. Like, we both cared for each other. And then I met him, I think it was 2012. He came to Toronto. I met him for the first time. And then we lived together right away for a month in an apartment downtown. And then I went to Australia a month later and lived there for a year with him. Just met him. That's crazy. Okay. But I felt close and we talked every day.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. You know, there's kangaroos hopping around. We'd go hiking, and there they are, and koalas in the trees. And, you know, the toilets do flush the opposite way. I tried. And it was just an amazing place to live. But it was weird when the seasons were opposite. Because I was used to, you know, like, Christmas is coming, it's snowing, and there's summer's coming and it's so hot you can't go outside. It felt like just the heat would the breeze was actually hotter than no breeze. Like, the breeze would come and it would feel like, you know, hair dryers. Like,
oh my god.
It was bizarre.
I've never been anywhere where that's the case.
It was weird. But the spiders there are terrifying.
Yeah, that's the thing about Australia. It's like the wildlife is beautiful, but then the wildlife is fucking terrifying as well.
Yeah. You know? And any snake you see will kill you. It's true.
Right.
Do not go near them. Like, but that was great. And then he came here for 2 years and we lived here and we went over there. But, you know, me being young and not seeing things for what they are, he was constantly trying to cheat on me. And I was like, no, I want to be with you. you know, like in love does things to you. And
I know.
Yeah, and he did propose. I think it was the last year of the relationship, and yeah, I came back, you know, because we had to do the whole visa thing. So I had to be in the country. And then I think it was 3 days after Christmas, he texted me, "I don't love you anymore." And I was like, oh wow, through a text. It's like the Carrie Sex and the City being broken up with on a Post-it moment. If anyone knows Sex and the City. It was like that, but worse.
I've seen more episodes than I like to admit, but not like, I'm not paying attention hard. My girlfriend watches it, or she did watch it, and she was watching the new thing when it first came out or whatever, so.
It was bad. It was bad. I had my moment, as it would be after 6 years, and I just sent out the wedding invites like 2 days before, because he's like, send out the wedding invites, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? And so, you know, it took me a while. It literally took me probably 2 years to probably fully be able to date. Like, I was like destroyed. Your
story is very, like, I was engaged too. We were together for like 5 years, and there's no Australia involved, but like the heartache and the length and just how deep we were. And then like, I definitely have like suspicion of shit going on, but there's no like hardcore evidence. Mm-hmm. So I to be like, hey, like your hands are fucking, you know, there's red paint on your hands, you know, why is this like, fucking fence red? You know, so there's nothing like that, but I mean, it's pretty like, I'm 90% sure some shit was going on. And it's weird how you can get into a relationship and then by the end of it, you can look back and be like, wow, like I really, like that's not who I am. Like how did it get so far? How did I get so far gone? Like,
it was so bad.
You know, and I had like it was like fucking over a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was close to a year and a half where I didn't even like look at women. I was like, yeah, nice boobies, fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, like that's basically how I was, and I just didn't care getting to know anybody. I didn't, you know.
You have to have that time, especially when it like hurts so much. And you're like, you know, and I never picked good. I know, like we say that, like anyone can say that, but I have a genuine thing where I was picking people who were probably not the best for me, because I was like diagnosed as being a codependent. So I tend to like pick people like that are like bad for me, and I had to go to therapy to get over it before I went and dated again. So it's weird, like being in a healthy relationship. It's bizarre because I look back and I go, oh my God, what was I doing? Like that was so wrong. This is how it's supposed to be, right? But I'm so glad it happened, because I would have been so unhappy my whole life with someone that I wasn't supposed to be with. Like I was supposed to be with someone much healthier and in a better place. So yeah.
It's weird to think, just like 5 years ago, my life, it's like yours, was just completely different. Mm-hmm. You know, and like comedy was just like a pipe dream, and like, I had never been on stage ever, and I was like stepdad, my fucking ex had a daughter and stuff, so I was living like this like dad life, and just it was so different, and I was just like
so different, right?
Living so much for those two that I forgot. I lost sight of what I actually wanted, or what it was even like to actually want things for myself. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. So it was like there was so much learning, and then I met my girlfriend on Tinder.
Hey, I'm jealous. I did not meet anybody online because
No, that's good. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. No, that's so good. I talked so much shit about Tinder for so long, and then my boys were like, yo, my fiance, I met her on Tinder, and my buddy's in a relationship. They've probably been together for like 4 or 5 years now. And he's like, yeah, I met my lady on Tinder. And it's like, okay, so it's not just for pussy. Like, I can get pussy. That's not what I'm looking for.
I just never met anyone online, and I got to that point where you ever get a feeling that you're not going to find someone that way. Like, I just had this feeling of,
oh yeah,
it's not here.
And sometimes you look at people and you're like, well, they can find somebody. Like, why can't I find somebody? Like, this person, there's just things where you're like, how am I not in a better place? Like, what's wrong with me?
Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
Yeah, and I started to realize very quickly, like, being so happy doing comedy, it made me happy. Mm-hmm. And I stopped going to therapy because it was my therapy. Not that I was, like, spouting my problems. It was more, like, funny things about my life, but it just made me happier than that. And I was like, oh, obviously, like, I'm always meeting people every day. It just logically makes sense that I'm just going to drop it, not look, and I know I'll meet someone this way anyways. So I guess that's what they say. You just stop looking and you're like, work on yourself, and then the good stuff comes, right?
Yeah.
That's what it
Seems
is.
like good things are coming.
I think so.
All right, do you want to get into our top 5 now?
Let's do it. Let's do the top 5.
All right. Like I said, haven't traveled anywhere. So I'm not going to go through this one, but you tell me the places you've been. There's like definitely a shitload of places that I want to go to. So, yeah, you let me know.
Japan's on there for sure, because that was just a whole nother level of amazingness. They have a Disney World there. The only Disney World where they have the Disney World theme park, and a separate park called Disneyland Sea. And it's amazing, and it's all sea themed, and they have things there you can't see anywhere else in the entire world.
Okay.
So that to me was amazing to see, and sushi I love, and I love the whole culture, and it was just great being in Tokyo. So that's like number 1 probably. Australia would probably be up there too.
Yeah, I was wondering, because like sometimes, relationships can ruin really good shit, so I was curious.
I mean, I lived there and I got really homesick, but I do love Australia, and I got to see a lot of the country, but there's still so much I haven't seen. Like, I've never been to Ayers Rock, that big red rock.
I've heard of it.
It's amazing. I
dated someone who, she wasn't Australian, but she like initially moved there for like some school stuff.
Yeah.
And then she just stayed for like 10 years.
It's very similar to Canada. So it's a cool place. So I want to go back, but it's definitely up there. Where else? Bali. I went to Bali. Want to go back. Far to go to, but easier when you're in Australia, so that was a great place to go to. I experienced an earthquake there, so it was a little terrifying.
That's crazy.
And there was a tsunami warning, so I flew out 2 hours after that happened.
Natural disasters are like one of my biggest fears.
Yeah, I thought I was going to die. I was in the airport, and I had a fever, because I always get sick when I travel. And I was in a wheelchair, because I couldn't move, and everything was shaking. But I didn't know what it was, and someone screamed bomb. And I thought I was going to die, and tried calling my parents to be like, I'm so sorry, I've been a horrible daughter and I've been mad at you my whole life. But the lines were so busy and off the hook, it didn't go through. I was like, thank God, my parents would have freaked out. But it was a fun place to go to other than that.
It's the only time in life where you are thankful for a bad connection.
It's like, phew. I thought it was a disaster. Hawaii. I love Hawaii. I want to go back.
I'd love to go there.
It's amazing. I got to see like a live volcano.
Oh, it's amazing.
Which was really cool. Like just everything oozing out of the ground.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird.
That's a fucking dream of mine,
cool.
for real. That's so dope.
It's so cool. And there's like beaches that are black sand because of the lava rock.
Yeah, it's just like hardened and stuff.
Like never step on it barefoot. Oh my God, it's just scorching. Scorching. Where else on that list? India. Yeah.
All right.
I got to live there for 3 months. Other boy. Jeez, I travel a lot for boys. We're gonna stay.
You just travel a lot in general.
I love traveling.
Like. Let's not put it on the boys, all right? You just love travel, and there's boys along the way. You're a pretty lady. It happens.
It happens. It happens. I'm so thankful I got to do it. But yeah, that was cool. I got to see elephants roaming around in the street, and they worship elephants there, and it was really
That's
cool
awesome.
to see, and just seeing the spice market and stuff like that, and just being able to travel around and go to the Taj Mahal and see stuff you see in postcards. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous.
Yeah, and I went to Mexico in January. That was pretty cool to see the pyramids there.
Yeah.
I'd say that's top. I want to see all the wonders of the world before I die.
Yeah, I'd like to. Like, I haven't done a lot, and I'm 36, but I hope to make up for it later on, Because there's a lot of stuff I want to see.
Yeah, there's so much of the world. That's crazy. But yeah, you gotta do it. Do it. Just a little bit at a time.
A little bit? Oh, man. I'm mad, like... It's just, I don't think I'll be able to go... I've never had a lot of money in my life.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just like, I know there are some for sure that I'm just like, just have to look at photos. Like, I'm not going to get to go everywhere I want to go.
You make a list and then, you're poor for a while. Like, I'm still paying off Mexico. But, yeah. I don't know where I'm going to go next. I want to go somewhere cool, but...
Yeah, me and my girlfriend, I think we're planning. Like I said, I've never been anywhere where it's like super hot and like you don't want to go outside.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine it being too hot, but like she moved to Canada, less than 10 years ago. And she's living like in the, Dubai and stuff, and it's really hot out there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Then she'll like, when I'm like, let's go to the Dominican or let's go to Mexico. She's like, no, like that's not. She wants to go to like Iceland and shit. Like we're so far apart because that's where. And I'm like, no, like I'm trying to get away. Like I want to go somewhere hot when it gets cold here. I'm trying to get away from that, So
Dominican's fun. Just I wouldn't recommend Cuba right now because of the food shortages and the food is a little iffy. It's pretty. But Dominican, you're gonna definitely get more for your dollar.
Yeah, anywhere really around the like Mexico, Jamaica, Dominican, like any of those places.
Dominican's probably the cheapest next to Cuba, and the food's better. But everywhere's pretty when you go to there. It's so much fun. Yeah.
All right. Let's do dog breeds.
Okay, golden retriever's number one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I have a golden retriever.
Is yours like a cream or is he like on the darker side?
He's darker.
Nice.
Not as dark as Chester, your dog. Kind of in between.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 6. He's lazy. He's always been lazy his whole life. But I feel him. He likes his naps like me.
In all honesty, like Chester gets, I don't know, energy in spurts, like he doesn't always have energy, and he was just like laying on the floor like before you guys came and walked in the door, and he's like, people, like he loves, I think he likes people more than he likes, because we got him over the pandemic, so like he's never been like left alone ever. We have a sitter and shit, so and
golden retrievers don't like to be left alone. They're people.
And so he has his moments, but he's awesome.
What else? Other dog breeds. I love what are they called? The little sausage dogs. I'm trying to think. Dachshunds.
Yes.
Yeah, they're adorable. I just think they're so cute. Total opposite in size, of course, from golden retriever, but I just think they're...
Some of them kind of actually, if they're like the right color, they just look like they could be like some like stretched out. It's like you took a golden retriever and were like, he's a bit to handle, and you just kind of edit him on Photoshop.
Yeah.
As a dachshund,
And
they're
labs.
super cute.
Labs are cute.
Yeah.
Labs
didn't make mine.
Yeah, labs are similar to me in energy and disposition as golden retrievers, and I think they're so sweet.
They're so similar. Like some people actually think that Chester is a lab because he's a little darker than most retrievers.
Yeah.
But he is a purebred. Like we actually, and like I'll go through mine. Golden retriever's number 1. But like I've had other dogs and they were like, shelter dogs or just coming from a bad situation. And so I had a German Shepherd, which is my number 2, named Rascal.
So cute.
But when I was in BC, I was living on Vancouver Island. I lived there for, I don't know, a bit. I would say maybe just under 3 years, somewhere around there. I'm not sure. I was young, and I got him, and he was still a puppy. And where I lived, there wasn't a lot of like side roads. I got picked up for school along the East Island Highway. It was like the one strip that went from like end to end of Vancouver Island, right? And when I went out to go catch my bus one morning, he was like lying in the middle of the fucking highway. And it was so brutal. But golden retriever 1, German Shepherd number 2, and then Rottweiler. I also had another Rottweiler that didn't end in a horrible story, and wasn't actually mine, but it lived in the same house I was living in, so like it was basically mine. By I don't know, just by proximity, I guess. And so Rottweiler is number 3, and then I'm gonna go with the last 2 are purely based on looks. Pug is number 4.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I'd ever get one because I hear about a lot of health problems and things like that, and so they just don't. But I fucking love looking at them, and they're so friendly, and pugs.
So cute.
And then dachshunds, too. This
So
is my
cute.
number 5, again.
I should have said golden doodles as well. Golden doodles.
They're adorable, too.
That was my other dog besides golden
And I also like those, what what are those, Shiba Inus?
Oh, yeah.
They're adorable,
so
too.
Cute. It's so hard to pick, like, top 5 dogs. Cause,
It
like,
really is. Like,
I love dogs.
I do love just, I mean...
all dogs.
Yeah.
Like, every single one, I would just
Pit bulls, big on...
like,
my buddy has, like, the friendliest pit bull. I've had a lot of friends that have had them and, like, don't really get a lot of the shit about them because it's like, people always talk shit about Rottweilers as well, but, like, my experience with them is nothing.
I think nothing it's bad. How you raise the dog. Like, if you're raising the dog and training the dog, and I don't think... I think
that plays more of a role than any, what their breed is.
Yeah, no, I've never seen any of those dogs do anything.
Metric songs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like that you pick metric. Now, not super, super, like, deep. Mm-hmm. I do like quite a few songs, and I've seen them live before.
Yeah, I try to go a lot when they're performing. Like, I'll try not to miss a concert. When I was in Australia, they didn't play over there, but I saw some other bands that I couldn't see over here before.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know. They're all equally good. Like, when I think of my top songs, like, I like Hell If I'm Alive or Combat Baby, like the old stuff.
Mm-hmm. Those are both on mine.
Yeah. There's a song called Breathing Underwater. She did a small venue called the Fun House.
Yeah. It was like, it was right by,
right
what was the other,
pandemic,
there was another house. It was the Fun House and then
some other one.
The Cool House.
The Cool House, yeah.
Yeah.
She did the Fun House right before the pandemic, and there was only, I think it was like 150 people allowed in the venue, and every single person gets a live recording, press vinyl of the recording. It was an acoustic recording, and the songs she played, you had to write in and request it. And I wrote in and I said why I wanted that song. And I was like, oh, this song reminds me of all the crazy stuff I've been through in the last, like, 2 years. And she read the letter, and for some reason, they cut it out of the record. Oh. So I waited so long, 6 months, for them to press the vinyl and send it. And I go to the song because I knew where it was. She didn't read my letter. Oh. They cut it out. The only one that they cut out.
That's a bummer.
Mine. Like, was it too long and boring? I don't know, but they cut it out. But yeah, I love that song, and I'm trying to think of another. You know when you love something and you just can't think of it? Like,
it's super hard. Well, it's also that. It's like, how do I...
It's so
pick
hard.
If you like every one and they have however many albums,
yeah,
like, that's how I feel with Linkin Park. If we were to do Linkin Park,
I love Linkin Park.
I don't know, like, it would take me a bit of time to come up with 5.
Yeah,
for sure.
I have them on. I have most of their albums on vinyl. Actually, I collect way too much. But I think I'm at a top 3 right now. Like, I'm trying to think of other songs and I just can't. Cause like they're like in my top. What are yours? I'm so curious.
I can go through mine.
You're gonna say it and you're like, yeah.
Okay, so my number 1, and arguably could be my number 2 because my first one is a remix of Gold Guns Girls.
Yes, that would be in my top 5.
That's my number 1, but the remix done by Mike Shinoda. Have you heard that one?
It is probably, yes.
It's a great combination.
Nobody could have done a remix better.
And then I'm going to go Monster Hospital, because I think that was the very first song I heard by them. Yes. And I still, if I'm listening to them, it's one of the ones I listen to. Dead Disco.
Yeah, Dead Disco.
That's my number 3.
Yeah.
Help 'Em Alive, which you mentioned, and Combat Baby. It's my number 5, which you mentioned as well.
I think those are solid.
What about comedians?
Oh my gosh. This is like, when you have a long list and you're trying to narrow it down as well.
Do you want me to go first?
Maybe you go first.
Okay. I'll go first on this one. I've done them a few times. That's why they're not.
You're gonna be like, this is so easy. I've done this.
No, it's not. I don't think it's. I actually, the first 2 episodes when I was doing this top 5.
Yeah.
I would just drop them on the guest. And they'd have to do it, and if you watch Jam Easy, he was number 1.
Oh.
And his was the worst because I was just like, oh yeah, by the way, dude, come up with these right now. And so I started giving people a heads up, you know? Because I thought some of them would be hard for certain people. So, number 1 is Joe Rogan. Love him. Yeah. Don't care. I was actually, I physically own, so many of his things on DVD. His very first stand-up special, I got that. I remember going and getting it at HMV, and, he was just freshly off Fear Factor, and, there wasn't, places we could stream it, so I literally, that was the only way to get it.
Yeah.
And so I've been a fan for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to go with Chappelle.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta say
that's on my
Chappelle.
list. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Mark Forward, who is more of a local guy, but I like to consider him one of like Canada's greatest unknown comedians. And he's like, you know, he's got his hands in Letterkenny, and he was on Mr. D for a bit, and he does a lot of like cool shit. But I hear he doesn't have the best reputation in the community, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I have been trying to get him on the monthly show, and he's been like, I saw him and I was like, hey man, like last time I saw you, I wasn't putting together shows, but now I have a show and I would love for you to be on it.
Like, come on.
He's like, email me, and then, I mean, I've emailed him twice.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, so it is what it is. But he's my number 3. And then I'm going to go Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bill Burr, I like to say. But there's like a lot of... I'm almost tempted nowadays to like put Theo Von as my number 5 because there's so much stuff I watch with Theo Von. He's really his King and the Sting podcast, and now it's King and the Sting in the Wing because it's him, Brandon Schaub, and Chris D'Elia. They all have a fucking podcast now, and it's
hard.
It's
to
the only one I really
everything.
watch. I know.
There's so much. There's so much good content now. It's so hard.
But it's like, hey man, that's the thing about like doing comedy too. When you don't like something, it's like, hey, yo, there's so much. All right, just find something you like and, you know, run with that. Like, you don't have to like everything. It's okay. Like, get over yourself. Don't act like, you know, people can't talk about things because, you know, you don't like it, you know?
Speak your mind a bit.
It is what it is. You gotta just, you have to just be able to talk about everything.
For sure.
Because then it's like, where do you draw the line? You know, I don't even care.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're just not a piece of shit, like, racist fucking... You know, then I don't know. I'm cool with you.
Yeah.
I'm all about just also, it's like I feel like those people don't gravitate towards me because I'm just like, at the end of the day for me, it's like I just want to be around good people. So when I see that, I'm like, oh, those aren't my kind of people. So I just do that generally. And it's weird when people would rather complain rather than just be like, I'm going to go where I'm at.
Exactly.
You know, it's okay.
Exactly. And I feel like the people that I hang out with a lot, like even like just comedians or friends in general, they're all such positive people and like really kind and, you know, genuine.
There's a lot of good people in the community, man.
Yeah. I get good vibes from everyone that I've ever hung out with. I've never met anybody that I've not got along with.
That's good. I don't want to seem like the guy, but there's definitely some shitheads. There's shitheads everywhere.
But it's everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. There's going to be that. And you just need to, like...
Deal with it.
Steer clear of those that don't make you feel good, right? And and there's not that many of those, really. But,
it's pretty simple.
Yeah. Right? Okay. So,
alright, so what are we doing? Comedians.
Well, some of my number one's Whitney Cummings. She's so funny.
I do love her.
I got really into her, actually, like, before I did comedy. I was listening to her podcasts, watching her stand-up, and, like, she's just so quick. And just, when I watch her do, like, an hour-long special, it just amazes me how many bits she has. Like, there must be, like, hundreds of them just strung together. And I'm like, to me, that's just amazing because, like, how do you remember all that? Like, to me, like, I guess because it flows and you'll get good at it, but I just feel like...
She's a mad pro.
She's so...
She's the one you gotta show when people like, women comedians aren't funny. She's the one you gotta show.
She's so funny.
You know, she's definitely
so
a go-to.
And let's see, number 2. I really like Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
And yeah, now that whole special's released, I've been waiting for the perfect time to watch it.
I want to watch it with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I've had time to watch it like on my own. We kind of have different schedules right now because I'm not working, but yeah, I haven't watched it yet. But hopefully by the time this comes out, I'll have watched it. Well, I probably will, because, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta watch it as well, so I'm with you. I love Tim Dillon. I think he's really funny. I saw him live, actually.
Just recently,
ago.
yeah.
Recently.
Yeah.
Amazing show. Actually, a lot of the Toronto community was down there. I ended up bumping into a bunch of people down there.
Yeah, my feed was pretty busy that
night.
I was like, well, fuck, I didn't know.
Next would be Bill Burr as well. Yeah. I'm going to see him live. I think he's coming in August. I've got to look at my tickets, but he's coming. Whitney Cummings is coming too.
Oh shit! I didn't know about that.
I think this month. I have tickets to both. Okay. I usually get an update a week before, so I really gotta check that and make sure I'm not gonna forget when my show is. But I'm excited. I love Joe Rogan as well. I haven't seen all of his stuff though. But he's on my list. And Andrew Schultz, I think, hilarious. Yeah. Hilarious. I missed it when he came to Toronto. Yeah. I forgot what I was doing and I just couldn't go. I had like a whole weekend commitment thing, but I was so disappointed I couldn't go. But next time,
he would be in my top 10 for sure.
He's so good. So good. This stuff is just so funny. So many good comedians. It's so hard to choose like a solid list. In all honesty, I left out so many.
I could probably do like a top 25. Yeah. Every comedian would be great. Yeah. You know, so.
They're just so talented. So, yeah.
And let's end on superheroes.
Ooh, superheroes.
Now, did you go like traditional? Or are you like, what? I'm curious to see what way you went.
I don't know if mine's completely traditional.
Okay. No, that's cool. No, if you're like not picking someone that's like, you know, a Batman or a fucking Superman, it's okay.
They're on there.
You can pick friends. You can pick fucking your pet. You can pick. Honestly, it's very loose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I did kind of go in all directions. So we'll see. Yeah, my first one. This is so corny. Is my best friend. Dina, very similar name to mine, because she helped me out through like the worst times of my life, and she has a kid and a husband, but even though they had this whole life and they had to look after their kid and stuff, when I was like in like, I swear like the lowest points of my life, I was just like living at their house because I just didn't want to be alone. I was like so sad, and
they got it,
and they knew. They were just like, this girl, you know, she's our best friend, like, we're gonna help her, and they knew the place I was in, so, yeah, if it wasn't for them, I have no idea, but they were there for me, and I'll always be there for them, so, like, that's definitely number one there. Yeah, they're to me, like, beyond amazing, so, anytime they want me to babysit, I'm, like, there.
Auntie Dana?
Oh, yes, I am called Auntie Dana by their kid. He loves me. And he's in that perfect age group, the one I work with right now. So he's like 4.5. So he's perfect for that. Me being the girl I am. Number two, I don't know why I thought of this. This is the child in me probably thinking, like not the adult in me, of top superhero for this one would be... I laugh when I say it. Ariel from The Little Mermaid, because she was like my favorite Disney character. Hey. And I don't know if she was like brave or anything. She did like give up her voice for a man. But then I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. Her hair just stayed so perfect underwater.
She redeemed herself for all the choices that she made, I feel like, by the end, you know?
She was my favorite Disney character growing up, and I always thought whenever people asked me as a kid who my favorite superhero was, I used to say it was Ariel.
Right on.
So it stuck with me.
I actually really I think I've actually done Disney movies, and like Little Mermaid for sure.
Such a good movie.
Is like one of my favorite Disney movies, and I watched it a bit, and I like Sebastian and stuff.
Man.
But I was really like genuinely scared of Ursula.
She's such a
for
scary
a long time.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying, man.
That voice and the laugh.
So good, though.
It's so good.
And now I know eventually it's only a matter of time before they do the live action, right?
They were talking about that.
Have they?
And I don't know if they've done it. I don't know. There was rumors who they wanted to be Ariel. I forget who it was. But I was like, no. I think people were so mad at who they picked, they just didn't.
They stopped it?
Yeah.
But I mean, they're redoing all those movies now live action. Like, there's a new one coming out. I'm drawing a blank, but yeah. I'm sure eventually... Oh, yeah. You know, it will happen.
They're going to be all out. Batman's number 3.
Yes.
Because I love Batman, man. Like, but the movies, like growing up, like the Michael Keaton series.
Yeah.
Like,
so you're old enough to appreciate those, though. You saw those.
Yeah. Right? Like, growing up, like, I remember, like, watching that. The Val Kilmer one.
They're bringing Michael Keaton back.
Isn't that cool? He's being brought back.
Wild.
But Christian Bale was amazing, and then I saw the new one, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great. I like the whole story. Superman, but because like growing up, I watched the Lois and Clark series, and I had a crush on.
Oh, with
what's his face?
Dean Cain.
Yes, I had a huge crush on him.
That was such a good show.
Such a good show. People don't remember it. But
I remember it.
You do.
I remember
You
it.
do.
Yeah, for sure.
You're old enough to remember it. But it was such a good show. So, yeah, definitely that's like number 4. And number 5, like I had, trouble like trying to think. But I think it's like my grade 3 teacher.
Okay.
Because he was so patient with me. I was having trouble, believe it or not. I thought I was like dyslexic when I was in grade 3. But I was just really nervous to read aloud in class. Okay. And he was like really understanding. All my other teachers would be like, you're not focusing, or they were just really harsh. But he was super kind. And
do you remember his name?
Mr. McGee.
Shout out Mr. McGee.
So nice.
Yeah,
and he was funny. He was like the first teacher where I was like, this is a cool job.
That goes a lot, especially when you're dealing with like kids.
Yeah, for sure.
And the good thing is like kids find the stupidest shit funny.
They do.
So like, I mean, now that you're doing comedy, that shit's gonna help you, I think, in the classroom. When you get in there.
They remember things. They remember when I was writing my first set, and I had a notebook, and I would write things down that they would say, like,
oh yeah,
things. And I was trying to write. I'm still trying to write a bit on hot dogs. And they remember, did you write the hot dog joke? I'm like, no, it's so hard, but I'm going to do it, guys. I'm going to do it. Or they'll ask me, can I hear a joke? And I'm like, they're not for kids.
Yeah, right?
Why not? I'm old enough. I'm 5. No, maybe.
You're going to be their version of George Carlin.
Yeah.
Because did you ever watch Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yes.
And he was the conductor?
Yes.
And going from that into like one of his specials and seeing that's like
so funny.
He's the guy who like I'm like certain was like the initial, like he's the first comedian I ever saw. So like on some level I feel like it flicked, and now here I am doing this, and he was definitely the thing that ignited that spark. Like, oh my God, Mr. Conductor. And he's swearing so much. I loved it, man. It was awesome.
It's true.
And I still, to this day, like, I love people that, like, just have different things going on. Like, the fact that you're a teacher and a comedian. Like, I think that's fucking cool, man. Like, I like different layers to people, you know?
The parents seem to love it. They're like, we're going to see your stuff. And I'm like,
I don't know, yeah, right?
With the children, don't judge me, or, like, the dirty
so you gotta,
stuff.
like, send them somebody that you like that's really, like, next level raunchy, and see how they respond to that.
Oh, I'll just throw them over to Josh, and if they can handle Josh's stuff, then they're okay with my stuff.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Really, that will test everybody.
All right, I guess we'll wrap her up with one of these.
Oh, yes. So are you picking one and I'm picking one?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do...
Each.
Okay.
Right.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to do that 1 second. Okay, I'll go first. It's an odd one, but I'm going to go with it.
Oh, good. I like odd.
It's not very specific to you, but how does attitude affect one's life?
Oh my God. Yeah. I think if you think negatively and you're focused on only the negative, that's what you're going to get. I do believe in that because I was doing that for the longest time. And as soon as I changed in all different parts of my life when I was going through a hard time, my like outlook, which was very hard to do, that's when the good things actually happened. Plus, like, it's hard to say, like, and then actually carry it out. But then you do feel better. Like, if you start to think of the positive and you're more optimistic, you're really going to feel it. I feel like that's why I feel like I'm not stressed.
And I think it spreads, too. Yeah. Like, if you're around someone, and they're, in the mood, like, it spreads from person to person,
It does. If you're in a bad mood and you go to work and you're going to put other people in a bad mood, I always try to be in a good mood.
And, like, I can obviously talk about this, and it's definitely easier said than done. Yeah. Obviously, some days I'm not the best.
Yeah.
But I just, like we've said earlier, like, things just happen, and bad things can lead to good things, and it's once you've gone through a few of those like life-changing moments, I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
it's easier to just kind of be like, hey man, feeling shitty and just dwelling on it really is not gonna do, like, it's happening. Like, you know, it's not gonna make anything better. And you see, like, okay, something might come from that. You just got, you know, it's, once you've gone through a bunch of shit, I think it's easier to see this to be,
you know, it's gonna look up, I guess, like your life, basically.
it affects you less, I think.
It does.
It makes you, like I said, not perfect. And I have my bad days, but I have a lot better days than I did once before, and they're getting better. And as long as you're progressing, I mean, that's all you can really do is get better. Don't even, like, don't even worry about the speed. I started a lot of my shit late in life, you know, as well. And I'm a big, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So
I'm the same.
See you at the finish line, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I tried not to think about my age when all that happened. I was like, this is happening, and I'm like 35. What? No.
I never would have guessed, you know, you're that age.
It's the trying to think optimistic and positive, keep you looking young, right? Ooh, this will be fun. This question: do you believe in bad luck, jinxes and curses, etc.?
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I act like I don't, and most of the time I don't, unless like something important's happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And if something important's happening and someone's like, this can't happen, but like there's no way it's gonna happen badly, and I'll be like, you fucking knock on that table, you know? And like it's really only, it's like, I believe in luck in desperate times. It's like most religious people, but I don't believe in religion. I believe in luck, kind of. You know, when I'm on a hard time, I'm like, come on, fucking salt, fucking all the shit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but most of the time, nah.
Yeah, for sure. Whenever you're going through a bad time, you're like, okay, maybe I just need this good luck charm. Maybe this will help me. Like,
what was I wearing that last show?
You need to wear that again, down to the underwear.
Down to the underwear, All right. Do you believe in an afterlife or reincarnation?
I'm not religious either. But I believe like there's something out there. I think sometimes I think that I was like in another life. Like certain things seem familiar, and it could just be like just coincidence. But just too many things have happened to family members who have died. Like just different things. Like my dad having a dream about my grandpa saying come here or whatever, and then he dies like an hour after he gets there. It's just weird things like that make me think, oh, something's there, something's going on. And I don't know if it's wishful thinking, but like, you know, with all the things we go through and all the lessons we learn, there has to be something. Like there has to be a point. It would be pretty weird to not have a point. Like learning all these lessons has to be for something, right? So I'm just like, you know, like that's where I start to think about it. But I don't know what that is, right? It could be anything, but...
Yeah, I feel like a better answer for me would be like, I don't not believe in it. Like, it's like, I don't take it off the table.
Yeah.
And I've had some experiences with drugs where I feel like maybe we're not just physical beings.
Yeah.
But, and like when you have people die, you want to believe there's something and that you'll see them again.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, it's weird. It's again, like I don't think I do, but then sometimes like my buddy, one of my best friends passed away, like a little bit ago, like last year, I want to say last January. And I have like he was a tattoo artist, or not a tattoo artist, he was a piercer, but he worked at a like tattoo studio. And he had like a business card, and I like keep it on my mirror in my bedroom.
Right.
And like so, like legitimately, like some days I like have talked to it before.
Yeah.
And it's not like I don't know if I actually think he's listening. It's just like in some way like talking to it like helps a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously I'm not expecting some like response, or I'm not like, it's not like a prayer type thing, but it's like, why am I doing that? It makes me wonder. I'd love to like my thing, it might be just some stoner shit, but is like, oh, the light at the end of the tunnel is just you coming out of another vagina into a, like, for a long time I've believed that, but like it's just something I say that's kind of funny, but I mean it seems like it could be, like, it's so hard for me.
That's interesting.
I'm gonna say no, but like maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, how do we know? Like, I don't necessarily believe in it, and I don't live my life like there is.
Yeah. Like,
I'm pretty, like, and like as you get older, the more I feel like I think about death too, and it's like, well, shit, like I'm just, the thought of like not thinking anymore, like there's so many things that I just, at 36 I didn't think about at 26.
Yeah, you don't think about it until you get much older.
Hopefully, if there was reincarnation though, what would you want to come back as? Not a human. You can't be a human again. So you only get to be one thing every time. What would be the first thing you came back as?
I would say birds. They could fly. That'd be pretty cool. And then even though birds don't live that long, at least I hope you would know, maybe as that bird, like, if I die, I'm going to come back as something else again. I would not want to be an ant because, like, that's scary shit. You just see all these feet and children with magnifying glasses. But a bird would be cool. Yeah, you know, being able to fly, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you come up as?
Like, it definitely, a bird is appealing, like a fucking eagle or something.
Yeah.
Like a top of the food chain for birds.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so you don't get eaten.
Like the most, yeah.
Hopefully not eaten as an eagle or anything like that.
I don't want to come back as a robin, I don't want
No, that would suck.
Yeah, maybe a bird seems like a really cool choice because it's so different from what we live now. Or maybe even like a fucking like killer whale.
Yeah, that's awesome. And they live a long time.
Experience that shit.
You can go underwater and eat. What do they eat?
I imagine it's pretty peaceful because you're so big. It's like a lot of shit doesn't want to fuck with you.
Yeah, no.
So you can just be like...
The sharks aren't. They're huge.
Yeah.
No shark's gonna come after you. Just maybe some boats, trying to like get tuna or something.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, and mine is, how did you meet your closest friends? Brackets. In case you have more than one.
Okay. It's a pretty simple answer. Just work. A lot of my friends are through work with it. And now it's like work is a little different, but even before I was a comedian, like in kitchens or just even before that, like most of my friends I feel like I met through
work.
Yeah, my girlfriend, I can consider, she's like one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Met her on Tinder, so I don't know. I'm going to say like, work.
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid, yeah.
What about you?
For me, like my best friend was from grade school, grade 8.
Nice.
And then all the friends because we got out of touch, and then I met her again on Facebook maybe 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And then all the friends she was close to, I met through her. And so they were my group. But now because of comedy, I feel like a lot of my close friends now are through comedy and work. So it's like a combo of everything. Yeah. It's like, I feel like half is comedy now. Very quickly, I have like really good close friends from comedy, and then half is from like before comedy, BC.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's a joke.
I know, right? Oh, I gotta remember that.
Don't forget it. All right, BC, before comedy. We're gonna say it. I hate that shit, man. I could literally be on my way to the bathroom, think of something like, oh, I'm gonna write this down when I sit down and take my shit, and then I pull my phone out. I was like, what was I doing again? Fuck. And sometimes I'll sit there for like 10 minutes and try to force myself to remember it. I know. Sometimes when it's gone, it's just gone.
Or I write it down and I don't remember how it's supposed to, or there's something that goes with it and I just forgot. But yeah, it's so funny. Like, you got that life before and after, and then there's like a combo. And then at my shows lately, they've been intersecting, and it's been a funny thing to see the different friend groups like mash together.
Yeah. But it's sweet.
Yeah, everybody likes everybody.
I remember like one of the first shows my girlfriend came to, and like I had like a lot of punk friends, like people with like tattoos and shit. And so she's like just we come from different upbringings for sure, you know? Like, and she's a scientist person coming to my show with like all her work friends and these really smart people, and And then here I am with like all my friends, and we're like fucking, you know, we just look, you know, a little off-putting, I guess, to people that aren't used to being around people that look like us. And they sat in different areas, and it was like after that show, I was like, you guys don't need to sit apart like we were all together. And I was like, let's just fucking, you know. And
did she go to a lot of your shows?
Yeah, she's really supportive.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she comes to a lot, but not everyone.
Yeah,
but like all the ones that I put on for sure.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And if I need her to, she's there. Like if it's like a bringer show, I'm like, hey, like.
Yeah.
She's there. She's really supportive.
It's cool.
And it's so weird because going from my last relationship, everything was about her. She was very selfish.
Yeah.
And now it's like someone's like, oh, I can do things, you know, for myself. She's just,
I know.
She couldn't be more supportive.
No, I feel the same. Like you can know when you're in like a good relationship, I guess. It's like everything you look back on and you're like, wow, it should have been that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's so weird. Like, you know, I think I'm lucky, like dating someone who's in comedy. They get it, and you go to each other's shows, and it's like you enjoy it.
How is that? See, that's something I never thought about. But how is it like? Do you guys feed off each other's material? Like,
Yeah.
when you come up with shit, do you bring it up to him?
I'll write it, and I'll say, "Should I rewrite it?" And he'll say, "Uh-huh." But like his standards are like high because he's such a good writer.
Well, he's been doing it for
he's been doing it for
too.
10 years, and he's probably the best writer I've ever seen. But sometimes I'll say something in the car, and he's like, you need to keep talking, and he'll tell me, like, keep going, and, like, push it. Okay, you can push that further. And we're in a, like that kind of state, like, where we can feed off of each other. But I feel like before he goes on, because lately he's been doing more shows, he'll say, oh, should I do this joke? And I say, don't do it. He's got edgy stuff, so sometimes he'll be like, don't do it, because like, I'll see the crowd, and that will be the right decision. So, yeah, it's good to...
Yeah, that's
it's interesting
too.
dating someone who does comedy. I feel like
it's hard to feed off my lady because she's a very weird sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so even in times where she doesn't think things are funny, I'm like, I'm still gonna do it. And then after the show, I'll be like, I fucking told you that was funny. You know. And so she's learning to respect, you know, the stuff more. But still, it's like it's hard for me to feed off her because we're just so far apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still do it.
You got to, and sometimes that works, right? Sometimes having someone so different can help.
Yeah.
Even with material. Mm.
Alright, well, I guess we'll get out of here, man. And you can let these people know where to find you if you want.
Yeah, okay. Instagram, die_another_Dana, Dana, is my Instagram. I'm putting on shows a lot. I'm going to be producing a new secret one coming up. And
secret one. This is coming out on, let me tell you right now, I'm going to look at the Cali.
Ooh.
Cali. I've never called a calendar a Cali in my life. Judge me. The 14th.
The 14th. So, mid-July, I'll have another comedy bukkake show. I'm waiting on the days. And then end of July will be the secret show that I'm releasing, like the new concept.
Hell yeah.
Will be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to start up a new show in July as well.
Awesome.
Which is going to be like
it's going to be a fun summer.
a comedy roast battle, but with compliments.
Cool.
So
there you go.
I'm calling it Complimental.
Oh, that's a
The
cool
logo
name.
is like, actually, I usually don't go on my phone on here, but I feel like you'll be able to appreciate what it looks like.
Oh,
That's the
Complimental.
logo. Yeah, so.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so good.
Sometime in July.
There you go.
And definitely follow her. Very funny lady, and she's only just begun. Like always, this podcast is brought to you by Neon Light District. Hit them up. Use code PillowTalk to save 10%. And by The Great North Apparel. Hit them up. Use code PillowTalk to save 30%. And see you in 2 weeks, guys.
Bye.
Peace the fuck out.